When I go to sleep at night, I go to sleep knowing that I'm prepared to wake up and run in cold weather the next day. This isn't because I just love cold weather, but rather it's because I have stopped making 4 crucial winter running mistakes. After watching this video, you'll learn how to avoid these mistakes and continue running faster and further. Mistake number 1, unprepared gear. We've all been there before when we're searching for a piece of gear. How about instead, we take the time the night before, set out the various things that are going to be necessary in order to run. The goal here is to minimize the amount of decision making you have to make on the day of, so that way you can improve your overall decision making the next day. Set out your things, put it near the door or wherever you're going to see it first thing in the morning. That way you're able to get out the door that much faster. Number 2, being overdressed. Look, Rocky out there running in full jeans and boots and a shirling, probably too much. First off, protect your head, take care of your hands.
Layers make things simple. You don't want to be underdressed, you don't want to be overdressed. Everybody's preference is a little bit different, but what I like to start with is a base layer. Now with that base layer, it's going to be something moisture wicking. I like to do a short sleeve top, go with the tights on the bottom, short tights, and then over top I like to do some sort of like mid layer and then pants. That pretty much is going to keep you straight in the 40s.
And when it gets down to the 30s, this is when you probably want to introduce more of like a long sleeve, something close to your body. Again, a mid layer again. Let's go long tights this time, close to your body, and then let's do another long pant.
Finally, when it gets down into the 20s, that's when I break out the long tights with the long pants and everything else before, as well as some sort of like wind resistant, water repellent type of jacket. Under the 20s, may the odds forever be in your favor. You will not see me out there. Also, the nice thing about layers is it keeps you from being like too hot. I like to have only as much clothes on as I possibly need because you don't want to be carrying that sweat. Yes, you can have really great material. That's only going to do so much when it comes to pulling away moisture from the body. It's got to go somewhere. When it's really cold outside, it can get really gross. And also, bonus tip, when you finish out your run, get out of those clothes and do something warm and cozy as soon as possible.
Number 3, running without warming up. Now I know there are a lot of people that just like to get straight out the door and go for a run, but if you just consider this for a moment, it's cold. You're leaving, hopefully, the comfort of your home. Start off with a few dynamic stretches, maybe some leg swings, some lunges, whatever these things are called. Ultimately, you want your body feeling like this.
Oh, my joints feel like butter.
The warm-up doesn't stop inside. When you get outside, spend the first like 5 to 10 minutes just chilling. I like what Coach Bennett says about being a smarter runner. And part of being a smart runner is starting off easy.
Avoid this mistake and you'll actually finish the run feeling better than when you started.
Setting unrealistic training goals. Comparing your January to your June, probably not the best thing.
One of the first things you should do is allow yourself some additional flexibility. Colder times really is an excellent time to focus on duration and effort as opposed to pace and specific times or mileage.
So take for instance a typical 1 hour run. Perhaps it's really cold outside and running 6 miles an hour just doesn't seem feasible. But maybe running 60 minutes at a much slower pace gets me 6 minutes for the day.
Next thing, compare winter workouts to other winter workouts. If you compare, say, a fart like you did in the winter versus one in the spring, chances are the one you did in the spring was likely faster. That makes sense. Instead, compare, this year's winter workouts to last year's winter workouts. Maybe last January you ran 100 miles. Maybe this January you run 110 miles. Something like that. Just something that you can see incremental progress, but is not as rigid as trying to think about everything in terms of like your time. Because frankly, when the temperature drops, it's much harder to hit those overall paces. Also, one quick tip when it comes to like windy days specifically, do what you can to run into the wind. I know it's already difficult enough to get out the door and now you're gonna be greeted with cold wind, but I assure you, finishing out a run with the wind on your back, kind of like a power up, like your Sonic the Hedgehog or something like that. Because finishing a run into the wind can be demoralizing. You wanna end the workout on a good note, that way you're likely able to get up the next morning and do it again. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Jordan Thomas, peace.